For more than 2,000 years, the Dead Sea Scrolls lay concealed in the remote caves of Qumran, representing one of history's most remarkable discoveries. What intriguing secrets do they contain? Who were their authors, and what led to their concealment? Join us at Explore TV as we delve into the fascinating story of the Dead Sea Scrolls and uncover the mysteries of our past. The Dead Sea, it sounds quiet, still, like the end of something. But this special lake tucked away in the dry Judean desert is full of hidden life. It's not just super salty, it holds secrets that are thousands of years old. Secrets written on delicate scrolls, hidden as if time itself wanted to keep them safe. For ages, the empty land around the Dead Sea has fascinated travelers and scholars. The old ruins, the tough terrain, even the air feels like it's buzzing with forgotten stories. And inside the twisty Qumran Caves, a remarkable discovery was waiting to be found, a story that would change how we understand history and religion. It's the year 68 AD. The Roman Empire is taking over Judea, casting a dark shadow over everything. In the faraway settlement of Qumran, a group called the Essenes are hiding. These religious people, wanting to be close to God, live a simple life of prayer, study, and helping each other. The Essenes have a secret, a collection of holy texts carefully copied and protected. These scrolls, filled with ancient wisdom and predictions about the future, are at the heart of what they believe. But as Roman soldiers get closer, the Essenes have a tough choice. How can they save their precious scrolls? Sadly, they make a big decision. They carefully wrap the scrolls and put them in clay jars, hiding them in the dark Qumran Caves. They hope that someday someone will find them, and their precious words won't be lost forever. Hundreds of years go by. The Roman Empire disappears. Sand covers the cave entrances, hiding the secrets inside. The scrolls, safe in their jars, are forgotten, waiting to be found. It's 1947. World War II is over, but things are still uncertain. But in all the trouble, a surprising discovery will soon amaze the world. A young Bedouin shepherd, looking after his sheep near the Dead Sea, is searching for a lost goat. He doesn't know he's about to change history. He hears his goat bleating from a cave in the cliffs and goes inside. As his eyes get used to the dark, he sees something spooky. There, among the rocks, are big clay jars covered in dust from hundreds of years. He's curious, so he touches one. It breaks, revealing its secret, a bunch of rolled-up scrolls, their dark writing barely visible on the old paper. The young shepherd, Mohammed Ed-Deb, looked at the strange old scrolls. He couldn't read them, but he knew they were important. They felt heavy with meaning, like they held ancient secrets. He carefully put the scrolls in his bag, treating them like they were the most valuable things he owned. News of the scrolls traveled fast through the Bedouin community. Whispers of ancient treasures reached Kando, a shoemaker and antique seller in Bethlehem. Kando found the shepherd and looked at the scrolls. His heart beat faster. He recognized the Hebrew writing, but it was very old. These weren't normal writings. They were ancient, maybe older than any scriptures anyone knew. He felt excited. He knew he'd found something amazing. The scrolls were delicate and damaged. Kando knew he had to protect them. He carefully wrapped them again, promising to find someone who would understand their importance. The race to unlock the secrets of the Dead Sea Scrolls had begun. News of the scrolls reached Professor Elazar Lipa Sukenik at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. He was an expert in ancient Hebrew writing. Sukenik was interested but careful. There were lots of fake antiques around. He wanted to see the scrolls himself. Even though there was fighting in the area because of the war for Israeli independence, Sukenik knew the scrolls could be very important. He secretly met with Kando. He knew he had to act fast. Sukenik saw that the scrolls were fragile. They needed to be protected from the fighting and the harsh desert. As he looked closely, he knew they were real. These weren't fakes. They were ancient artifacts, and they could change what we thought about the history of the Bible. He realized he held something incredibly important, something that could change our understanding of the past. Sukenik knew the scrolls were important to both religion and politics, so keeping them safe was his top priority. They became a source of national pride, a real connection to a distant past. He dreamed of a place where these ancient texts could be studied, protected, and shared with everyone. He wanted to buy the rest of the scrolls from Kando. The discussions were serious because of the scrolls' importance and the war, but both men knew the scrolls were bigger than just buying and selling. They were guardians of the past, responsible for protecting history. In 1949, after the War of Independence, Sukenik finally showed the scrolls to the world. They became famous. Scholars and ordinary people were fascinated by this glimpse into a lost world. The shrine of the book was built in Jerusalem to house the scrolls. This beautiful building shows how important writing and history are. The scrolls are safely displayed inside, fascinating visitors from all over the world and slowly revealing their secrets. The Dead Sea Scrolls aren't just old things, they're like a library frozen in time. Inside are stories that have been around for thousands of years, stories that shaped civilizations and inspired faith. The most famous scroll is almost a complete Hebrew Bible, much older than any other version. Imagine how amazing it was when scholars carefully unrolled these sacred texts. The familiar stories of Genesis, the beautiful words of Psalms, the wisdom of Proverbs, all there, perfectly preserved. The scrolls showed us how Judaism and early Christianity developed, illuminating the roots of Western religious thought. They're incredibly old. They connect us directly to the ancient world. Scholars were amazed that these ancient texts were so similar to later versions of the Bible. This showed how carefully these sacred stories were passed down through generations. The Dead Sea Scrolls didn't just confirm what we already knew. They showed how rich and complex these beliefs were. They gave us new insights into religious practices and Jewish law. They weren't just copies. They were living documents, showing the faith and scholarship of a lost community. But the Dead Sea Scrolls had more than just Bible stories. There were also writings no one had ever seen before, documents that hinted at a world about to change. These other texts told us about the beliefs and practices of the Essenes, a mysterious group. The writings described their strict rules, their focus on ritual purity, and their belief that the world was about to end. The Essenes thought they were living in the final days, waiting for a savior who would bring peace. These beliefs made sense because they lived during a difficult time, with Roman occupation and fighting among the Jewish people. The scrolls showed a community deeply involved in the politics and religion of their time. They talked about a teacher of righteousness, an important leader who may have started the Qumran community. Some scholars think he was a real person, maybe a priest who left the Jerusalem temple. The scrolls' mysterious predictions have fascinated scholars and led to many different interpretations. Some see connections to early Christian beliefs, while others see a unique Essene theology. The scrolls' mysterious messages continue to spark debate, reminding us that the past isn't simple, but full of different beliefs and experiences. The Dead Sea Scrolls also show us what everyday life was like for the people who wrote them. Archaeologists found other things in the caves, like pieces of pottery and tools. These things show us how people lived in ancient Qumran. Simple pottery, leftovers from meals, showed they shared their lives and cared for each other. Pieces of cloth and leather showed their skills and crafts. Small leather boxes with Bible verses showed their personal faith. These objects, touched by time, connect us to the people of the past. The scrolls themselves, with their mistakes and little notes, show the human hands that wrote them. We can almost imagine the scribes carefully copying each letter. These weren't just anonymous scribes, they were individuals with their own stories. The Dead Sea Scrolls paint a complete picture of a lost world. They remind us that the past isn't a strange, faraway place, but a place where people lived, loved, and struggled just like we do. Their legacy reminds us of the power of faith, the importance of community, and the human desire for knowledge and understanding. When the Dead Sea Scrolls were found at Qumran, everyone wondered who wrote them. Who were these people who kept such a big collection of ancient texts? Many scholars think they were the Essenes, a Jewish group known for their strong faith, strict rules, and separation from the rest of society. Ancient historians describe the Essenes as a private group devoted to a simple life and sharing everything. They didn't care about owning things, many didn't marry, and they spent their time studying scripture and trying to be close to God. Their beliefs were different from the temple priests in Jerusalem, making them a unique and mysterious group. The scrolls themselves seem to support this idea. Descriptions of ritual baths, food rules, and communal prayers matched historical accounts of Essene life. The scrolls focus on purity, their belief that the world was ending, and their hierarchical community structure all suggested a group seeking spiritual refuge during a difficult time. Could these scrolls, hidden in the caves, be the writings of the Essenes, proof of their faith and careful preservation of sacred knowledge? The evidence, while not conclusive, was strong. If the Essenes were the authors of the Dead Sea Scrolls, their lives were full of ritual. The scrolls and historical accounts show that they lived by strict rules to stay spiritually pure and prepare for the coming of the Messiah. Ritual purity was very important. The scrolls describe in detail how they washed, handled food, and kept a sacred space. These rituals reminded them that they were separate from the impure outside world and devoted to something greater. Life at Qumran was communal and organized. The scrolls mention a community rule, a set of guidelines for everything. Members shared everything, ate together and prayed and studied together every day. Their lives were simple, disciplined, and focused on their shared beliefs. The Essenes' beliefs and practices, though unusual to outsiders, gave them order and meaning in a chaotic world. Their community at Qumran, in the quiet Judean desert, was a safe place where they could live according to their beliefs. Most people think the Essenes wrote the scrolls, but some scholars have other ideas. Some think the scrolls were hidden when the Romans attacked Jerusalem in 70 AD, and that they're a collection of different Jewish writings. We may never know for sure where the scrolls came from, but they still have a lot to teach us about history and belief. When the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, it caused some arguments, and not everyone could see them. At first, only a small group of scholars could study them, and some people thought this wasn't fair. The scrolls, meant to be a gift to everyone, seemed to be kept secret by academics. Because not everyone could see the Dead Sea Scrolls, people started to imagine all sorts of things. Some thought the scrolls contained information that challenged established doctrines or historical narratives. More and more people wanted the scrolls to be available to everyone. In the late 1900s, things changed, and more people could see the scrolls. In 1991, the Huntington Library made photographs of the scrolls available, which was a big step. Then, with computers, even more people could study them, which helped protect the scrolls and allowed scholars all over the world to work together. Modern science helped us understand the scrolls without damaging them. New techniques revealed details we couldn't see before, giving us insights into how they were made. Scientific investigations confirmed or refuted theories about the scrolls' origins and authorship. Carbon dating changed how we study the Dead Sea Scrolls. This technique proved how old the scrolls really were, showing they were from the 2nd and 1st centuries BC. This helped us understand when they were written and how the scribes worked. Infrared imaging showed us writing that had faded or been damaged. This technique revealed faint letters, corrections, and helped put broken pieces back together. The scrolls, once silent, began to speak to us through science. The Dead Sea Scrolls are now famous all over the world, and anyone can see them. High-quality images and translations let everyone explore their mysteries. The scrolls encourage discussion, debate, and a deeper understanding of our shared history. Even after decades of study, the Dead Sea Scrolls still have secrets. New technologies might help us find hidden chambers and artifacts. Trying to understand the scrolls is like trying to understand ourselves. The Dead Sea Scrolls are important for the modern world. They remind us that writing can connect different cultures and inspire new ideas. The scrolls offer a message of hope and resilience, helping us find our way forward. But the story of the Dead Sea Scrolls isn't over. Could more secrets be waiting to be uncovered in the caves of Qumran, or do they hold answers to mysteries we haven't yet imagined? Only time will tell. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to uncover even more fascinating stories from around the world. Until next time, keep exploring with Explore TV.